Okay, here we go. We are live with Urban Sketches. This evening, we're going to be talking about the event director's position in Urban Sketches, and hopefully we can see some people join the show. Uh, Coming in right now, from it's 8 p.m. in Auckland, New Zealand, and I'm Eric Ngan, the events director for Urban Sketches. And for those who are watching, you may be interested in the fact that my 4-year term as the event director for Urban Sketches is coming to an end at the end of this year. And that means the Urban Sketches organization is looking for a replacement, of course. And this chat that we're going to have is just going to talk a bit about the background, about the experience, about the journey that one can have if you're on the executive board, and in particular, if you were to take on the role as the events director for Urban Sketches. Uh, in my role, I began the role in 2022, at the beginning of 2022. So it's a 4-year tenure, according to the bylaws of the Urban Sketches organization. And what I did want to do was just to share some of the experiences, some of the thoughts, some of the reflections that I have been able to gather over the period of time, and but also uh, I thought it was a great idea to talk about this role, not just from my point of view, but also the fact that I'm part of a legacy of event directors at Urban Sketches, and we have been able to build upon the work from the others who have gone before us. I think there's a scientific term talking about I see so far because I stand on the shoulders of the ones who've been before, and that is certainly the case for something like the events director role, because the you don't just build this from scratch. It doesn't start from zero. There's always a whole lot of people who have worked in the background and the foreground to bring it to the stage. Um, the current suite of events that the events director leads on is the regional event grants, where the organization provides funding to 5 chapters per year around the world for regional events, and also the premier event in the calendar of Urban Sketches, which is the International Symposium. Both significant public-facing priorities that the Urban Sketches organization is super proud to be part of and to deliver. But of course, as I said, there have been other event directors before me. And what I would like to do is invite to the show to share with us all the previous event director of this organization, and that is Peggy Wong.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, hi, Peggy. Coming in there. How are you today?
Great. We're what, 11 hours apart, you and I?
Well, yes. Well, I'm coming out of Auckland, New Zealand, and where are you beaming in from?
I'm based out of London, but today I'm in Palermo, so the time is closer. I think
Right.
11 instead of 12 hours different.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, we're on the other ends of the earth from each other. Yes, and just to note that also doing production on the show is our social media coordinator, Christina Wild, who is based in Cincinnati, Ohio. And due to the time zones that we have around the world, Christina is coming into us about 3 a.m. So we are super grateful for the gratitude for that and dedication to the cause. And so we're going to, yes. So I guess, yeah, Peggy, you heard the quick introduction that I made about the current role that we have coming up for expressions of interest, and just in a brief, yeah, mention just quickly your journey to become the events director. What were the steps that happened there?
Well, I was actually already on the board as board secretary, and there was a events director before me, sort of, but she was also the president. It's Elizabeth Alley. So she
Mm-hmm.
put together a couple of symposiums before I did. And after that, the symposium was put together by Fernanda, the then symposium coordinator, and Mario Linares, the events director at that, no, the education director at that time. So it, as the symposium is almost like a flagship event, the international flagship event of urban sketches, we need a little bit more manpower. I did have some background or dabble in events management, backstage management, and all that, despite being an architect. Because I was already on the board, so I volunteered to help with some of these tasks. I think the Chicago Symposium was the first one I got involved, and thereafter, during the strategic meeting that we have at the end of the symposium, I think after the debrief, they asked if I would take this on as the events director.
Mm-hmm.
I think at one time, no, wait, that was before that. So, they brought on board. Wow, gosh, this was 2017. I bought it 2019. So before that, it was Wilfred.
Wilfred, yes.
Yeah, I think it was Wilfred. He did, I think, 1 year plus term.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then I took on in 2019. So Chicago was the first one that I got involved with, and after that, Porto. So during
Mm-hmm.
Porto Symposium, it was already Wilfred. I worked on Amsterdam. But
Mm-hmm.
all throughout in between, we work together as an executive board.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find it a very interesting role because it's very diverse. It engages a lot of skills, life skills, people skills, social skills, and part of being a project architect, pulling people together in the creative studio, that helped a lot in preparing me for the role. And about how Eric got onto the role, can I start answering your
You,
question a little
you,
bit?
yeah, yeah.
Then
This is
you
this
can
is
take on
sort of
with your experience.
this is sort of for both of us too, because we're sharing with the
Right.
audience about our experiences. So yeah, we can go back and forth with that.
I think I remember who's your colleague from the events team, the that I met in Melbourne.
Um, who's the sorry the
There was a events team from the business events event that I went
oh,
to
so
in,
yes, sorry, yeah, that's right.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
say,
so
I
so
know an
so
urban sketcher from Auckland, and she
yeah,
knew you. And I'm like, oh my God, how
yes,
small is this world? And I
yes.
thought, oh, okay, Eric would be perfect for this role. He has experience in doing events. I'm going to tap his shoulder and see if he's interested in taking this on from me when my term is up.
That's right. And I saw a random message come up through WhatsApp or something saying, "Hey, there was a photo of you and one of my colleagues at the time.
Yes.
You were yeah, and I'm going okay." And it was odd because I didn't actually know her that well because she was based in Australia as opposed to New Zealand so much. So
Right.
yeah, so I was sort of looking at the face going, I don't really recognize the face. But anyway, yeah, you joined us up, and you obviously saw some useful potential
Yeah.
in me.
And then I think I encourage you to apply. And we've also got other applicants, but yours stand out a lot because of the experience from work, and it's so relatable to the roles and the job description that is required. And we decided you're the right person for the role. And I hope we
And
have the right
yes,
person for the next one.
no, no, thank you. Well, thank you. That is that is effectively the main bullet points of the journey that we landed and had the privilege of taking on the role of events director. I guess we talk about the I guess let's maybe even for both of us because it's like the general question is what is it like stepping into the role of an events director?
Mm,
And I mean, you sort of came into it with a sort of a jump start in different ways, like you said, or
yeah.
different avenues. And I guess my one was sort of more direct in that there was the role and applied directly for it, and so I landed, in the role. I hadn't been on the board. previously, but I'm an admin for my Auckland chapter, so
That's right.
um yeah, and so plus in my professional life, I'm a festival director, and so there's experience there with project management and so forth. But so all of those sort of stars aligned, and then yeah, but it was I guess to answer my own question, what was it like stepping in? It was starting. It was very familiar in many respects because it is project management in the
Yes.
same way, but it's very different in terms of being part of a whole board, an executive board, a non-profit, and but also being an international board where we see each other twice a year physically, at a strategic meeting and then at the symposium. So that was a whole new experience in that respect. That was
But you
something
do
very new for
meet
me.
online.
Yeah, we meet, online,
Mm.
but once a month online.
Mhm.
Getting to know each other, but also the different work streams of that a board entails. So you mentioned the symposium, but there were other projects that you were
Correct.
developing as well, more than symposium.
Yeah, I think even before me, I remember some of the events were initiated by other committees. At one point, Noga was doing social media. I think they had
Hmm.
other events as well, like the online events. A lot of these online events kicked off very well because we are an international organization with members all over the world, and they want to connect. So that's why it was successful in. I mean, we did start off with social media with the Flickr and then Instagram and Facebook.
Mm-mm.
So we did a couple of those after. I thought I wrote on one of her events where it was a 24-hour sketch or something. And
Yes,
we
yes.
created one during the lockdown where everyone was stuck at home where they
Mm,
are. Some were in very, very strict lockdown. They could only sketch from their window. Others could at least meet in a small group of six, but have to be socially distanced. So that was a very interesting one. We managed to create different time zones, I think four.
yes,
And
yes.
yeah, you were the first time zone that started
Yes,
where with
yes,
Auckland.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, I think there were a few chapters that was involved in one zone. It was great to see everyone sketching where they are from, whether it was one person or a small group. And it
Mm-mm.
was just a joy, especially during the lockdown. Things were not looking bright for a lot of people. And I think from there, we realized that there was a potential where these zones are to create regional events. I
Mm-hmm,
thought
hmm.
during one of the strategic planning meeting, around that time, there was already Asia Link. Asia Link was quite successful in the sense every Asian urban sketcher chapter get to rotate and host the event in their own style, flavor, and put
Yeah,
in their own character. So I kind of wrote off that as well and thought,
nice.
can we replicate this all around the world? And I presented for but I didn't really get to execute it. You got to execute it because I think what was that in 2021 and then you took off the first one in 2022.
Yeah, correct. Yes, that was when I started. That was the first event as such to get really for me to get an understanding of and to launch in the from go to woe basically.
Mm,
And so yeah, that's so I need to thank you and the team that sort of brainstormed that because we now have
yeah.
done 4 seasons of that, and every season we've been able to fund 5 chapters around the world. And through the balance of that, they've been in across multiple continents
Mm,
as well, and so and the I also know that the chapters that have been part of the regional event grants. I mean, well, the teams that have gone before the symposiums, Argentina, Buenos Aires, Poznan, Toulouse, that they're previous recipients of the regional event grant, and so that
ah,
for us, it's really heartening to think that you can take a step up from your local, get step up bigger and get confidence in the regional event, and then go, yeah, hey team,
exactly.
we can take a next step up and go for the symposium. And I just usefully, I've got behind me some goodie bags from there's the Auckland goodie bag. This is Buenos Aires, Poznan, and of course I've just got a scarf there for France, because that's coming next year in Toulouse. So that's also part of the legacy that you've been part of too, to expose urban sketches in a very different way to chapters, because they're doing more than
Yeah,
workshops and drinking draws and so forth. They're delving into their own cultures, into their own histories, and yeah, if anybody can go into the website and check out the regional event grant for this season, there's the range of things they're doing is just really, it's really beautiful and extraordinary. So many that lasting several weeks, not just a weekend, should we say? So I guess
I
that was
think
some of the.
our role in some ways, if see if you agree with me, is to work with membership and also other boards on the urban
Mhm.
sketcher, to encourage chapters to do events, because our focus is events and we can't do this on our own. But it'd be great to encourage other chapters that they can do something like this as well, and this is evident of it.
Well, the through the conversation with the regional events, some of them will say, "Hey, come to the board and say, hey, we'd like some advice on marketing. How can we do our
Mm,
things better? Or we'd like to talk to a sponsor. Do you have some advice on negotiating with sponsors? Or, our event is sort of taking this shape, but there are some issues. So how can we smooth those issues out or solve them?" And so we do take advice from other executive board members,
yeah,
um, across the team, and they input into that as well. So it's not just a straight here's, here's 2,000 American dollars. It's a great bit of funding, but
yeah,
there's a backup behind that too, which
excellent.
is yeah. And I think that's goes towards being, as the events director, you're part of an executive board. There's
Yeah.
7 other board members there as well. So with bringing in their own skills and expertise and knowledge and experience and passion to the
Mm.
job.
And it's not like just us creating plans and programs and policies and impose it on people. We're there to help make it happen as well, because I think we see the vision in this when we try to propose things. We would love for events to happen everywhere. And what is the spin off from that? It's great because it's interactive from
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
chapters and ourselves. And we learn each time with people and chapters that come to us, and everyone brings on board a different type of challenge, or they even have suggestions. I think that's what
Well,
makes the job interesting.
I think we've got another question. I guess is the what did we learn from watching how different cultures interpret urban sketching in their events?
Oh, this is a good segue then.
Yeah, did you have any thoughts on that? Of looking across the world?
Ah, do you want to start?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I think a really good thing that I have seen at hand, which is the regional events. And for instance, some of them are. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at my list here. We have just delivered the one or there's stepped off in Colombo, Sri Lanka, just gone, and they're looking at their city and the history of
Mm,
their city. And Stuttgart, they did a big, massive meetup. um, Guadalajara in Mexico, they're talking about their history of there's been revolution through Mexico and so forth, and the social
mm,
changes. And just even going back to the very first season was in Jakarta. Uh, they did a sketching session on addressing the river, a polluted river
that's
they
it.
have.
Was it
Yeah,
Donald, right?
it was
Donald,
Donald.
yeah.
Yes, Donald's
Yeah, I
leading
remember
the
the first
team.
one, yes.
Yeah, and I had the absolute pleasure and privilege to attend that. And so I was able to go down there to the river and see what was happening and meet the community. And so yeah, it's a bit of that's those gems that pop up that you don't really think about until you interact with a different culture.
Yeah.
So it's,
So,
yeah, it's part of their how do they tell their own story.
mm, I because I didn't have the actual experience working on the regional events grant,
Mm.
but I would like to share about the experience of working on the board as board secretary transitioning into events
Yes.
director, which is kind of related to how we engage with the local chapter as well. So when I was board secretary, we were planning the annual EB strategic meetings, always usually in the first quarter of the year. You
Yeah.
would have been part of this annual event. Um, I wasn't, I I think the first one was Rome. And I remember discussing with the board then, like, we are already there in person. Let's engage with the local chapter and do stuff together. So the first one we just met up and sketched. We did a little walking tour and that was it. And then we thought we could really do more. So the next one was, I think it was in Chiba. I met Maria during one Asia Link event, and I asked, would she know anyone that could host us if we go for um, EB meeting? And she linked us up with University of Chiba, which hosted us. We had facilities to use, meeting rooms, lecture halls, and we did programs with the local community and some of her classes. That was great. And it was, in a way, somewhat a local form of regional events,
Hmm.
lesser in the sense of getting the entire community involved, but it was good to raise awareness about what urban sketches do as part of the
Yeah.
reportage drawing.
Yeah.
And we continued that into Costa Rica. And the Costa Rica strategic planning meeting also involved local engagement, sketching with the University of Costa Rica Architecture Department. I, I found that very enriching, and it was, I think, the start of what inspires also the regional events grant program on top of
Right.
what. So it was an amalgamation of experiences we have with our community. And I think
Yes.
that is what makes it really rewarding as part of the events director role, just engaging with our community and observing how unique each one is. They bring forth their own flavor, character, the way they do things. And
Hmm.
in organizing the regional events, that is recognizing what each chapter or each region brings to the community that is unique.
That's a really nice reflection. About the journey of those thought processes, because they do build on each other, and
Yeah.
there is the opportunity to iterate. So just for the people watching, if you just a bit of context. So the executive board meets once a month for meetings to discuss the matters at hand, but in amongst that, there is an opportunity to meet in person. One of the strategic meetings is at a chosen venue somewhere in the world that is linked with a local chapter, and then the second opportunity is right after the symposium. So when the executive board is all together, um, the, the strategic meetings are 3 days of it's a full on time. There's a big agenda that the whole board has to go through, discuss, come to conclusions, and also lock in the following season's strategic objectives of where the board wants to put the energy. And one of those consistently has been outreach,
Mm.
which is about growing the community, and that also leads into the selection of where the executive board meeting could be. Um, the meetings that I have been able to attend have been in Guadalajara, Mexico, Strasbourg in France, um, Vancouver in Canada, and oh my, oh, I'm going blank. I'm going blank.
But let's
There's an
share our
Yeah,
experience with, because we are looking for the next events director.
yeah.
Maybe what the strategic planning. Do you guys still do that? reflection of the past year or past 3 years, and then what are we gonna do in the immediate 3 years or something like that, and what's in the long-term vision. I remember we
Yeah,
used to do all
yeah,
these post-it notes and then like put down
yes,
all our ideas and categorize them into the immediate and then the later and
yeah.
what will be the long term and all those.
Yes, effectively that is, yeah, still the same fundamentally, is that
That's fun.
you lay it out, you reflect on what went well, what could be improved, and then choosing the next phase of objectives. And yeah, that has in any structural planning, you know, that needs to be in place because the organization needs to know which direction it's going to go.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you know, we don't just say we're going to sketch around the world forever. There's we want to do that, but there are really pinpointed ways in which we can improve and also um, ensure the sustainability of the movement of the chapters of the organization as well. So
Yeah.
if I'm looking at what are we looking at? Yes, I guess that's a reflection about the leadership role
Mm,
that this is the events director role is with the executive board, and then I reflect back on not just leading the organization but also myself, you know, as a person in a leadership role. What did
mm,
I learn through the role? What did I learn about? What did we learn about ourselves in this? Have
mm.
you got any wisdom?
I I think I really appreciate that this is an international organization that we do get the chance to meet in person. A lot of um I th- and remember, this is a non-profit organization
Mm-hmm.
based out of grassroots, and people come together because they want to. And it's in even in the symposium, it's not an event like a conference or anything. Um, like there is educational component in it, uh, but people come together because we are community and friends. And while we are there together and sketch together, we learn some things from the workshop, lectures, and activities. Um, I don't know if I want to segue into the symposium experience, but yeah, let's use the symposium as an example.
Yeah.
Uh, like I recently went to Poznan because I wasn't sure if I would be able to attend the symposium if I grabbed the pass first. But remembering the whole refund process, it's gonna be tedious. I let people went for the pass first, and I thought if I can go, I would just go. And it's just even fun to go there and meet other sketchers, old friends, and see what's going on and try to learn of where the next symposium is so I can plan my next trip. And there, when I was there in Poznan, I was reminded about why this community matters to me, even though I'm out of the role for a while. And I'm not, I'm ashamed to admit this. I'm not very active with the Urban Sketchers London group because of um, scheduling, and also weekends tend to be my chore days.
Mm-hmm.
But coming to the symposium, I get to see everyone around the world, and this is a very enriching experience for me. And I'm not actually thinking about not only Toulouse, I'm thinking about um, Pune next year. Manish, I know you're watching. so, so yeah, I'm really excited about this. Now, what I plan my yearly trips around, like going to
Yeah.
see
Yes.
friends. This is aside from the events director role, which is rewarding, but I connect to everyone that I worked with. I think I connected with you because of the other events I attended. And I knew Annette and Elizabeth and all these people that are now working on Urban Sketchers board because
Mm-hmm.
of all the other little events that we work together with. And I think that's my rewarding experience. It helped in my other life experiences as well, like just to be tolerant and accepting of all the different cultures and the way people work. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes not everyone work the same way, and and need to learn to step back and let other people do certain things their way.
Listen, I think that's really good. I think you've captured it really nicely. The and it's still the same. And so before I was events director, I had attended symposiums prior
Mm,
as a participant. So my first symposium was in Singapore, 2015,
same.
and yeah, you were there too. So
Yeah.
the universe works like that. And then 2 years later, I attended the Chicago symposium, and then 2 years after that was the Amsterdam
Mm,
symposium. And so I had a good grounding as such in the symposium experience. And each one of those, I have come away with a lifelong friend. And so the connection, it just as a participant, I was able to get a really rich experience, which led into I said I'll step up and do more for the community and the board on the board, and subsequently that has revealed a whole new world in terms of people that I have been able to connect with around the world, and but also meaningfully connect with them, not just in a transactional way, but
mm,
because you're sharing time with these people, and with a shared passion and with a shared set of values, then those are the fundamental parts to cutting across borders, cutting across cultures. If we're all pushing for the same goal, which whether it be a symposium or whether it be just getting a really good composition down with watercolor, you've got the same fight. Yeah, it's those that I know that are going to maintain the passion for the community in myself. And I've seen others who have experienced their first symposium in Poznan, and that they've told me they're still on a high from that now, and so that they're already thinking about future
yeah.
symposiums. So I guess that's the human side of doing this, because it's non-profit. Yes, we do get some as a board member. There are benefits for some flights and hotel costs and so forth. Just trying our best to make sure that we're not out of pocket too much.
Mm. Just to
But
enable you to do the work. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But also alongside that, I've been able to travel with my wife as well. She's been attending it and enjoying the city in her own way, and so that's the broader thing of, it's not just us. We've got allies, we've got family that support us, we've got
Mm,
friends, and so we can that enables us to be part of this movement. So I guess that's the sort of the balancing thing, but it does take effort, and it does, like you said, you need to talk with people around the world from a different culture to try and make something happen. And there can be literal just misunderstandings of phrases that we are so common to use, but this
yeah.
person from another country just doesn't use. And I've got a lot of instances of that have been really hilarious, um, but some great
I can
learnings.
relate. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if you think about that, were there moments when you thought, "This is why we do this"?
Mm.
Has there been some of those sort of revelations to yourself that you can remember? This is why we do
I
this.
think always very vividly when you look at the closing ceremony of any events, urban sketches events that you go to, whether it be it Asia Link, a symposium, or even a regional grant event, or if it is even one of those little events that we attend, which is tied to the EB meetings, and you
Yeah.
see how look at the faces around the room with you in this kind of events, and you see people talk about how much fun they have, the sketches they share online, and how much they learn from the workshops that they've attended, and people cheering and having fun in general. That makes it all worth it. And you
Hmm.
forget the months of effort and anxiety you've had putting the event together, and you just look and you breathe a deep sigh and go like, yeah, this is why.
That's right. I think you're because you're living in the moment at that time. You
Exactly.
you the room is giving you that feedback, and you're going, yeah, this is the long hours and the
Mm,
meetings on different time zones. I mean, yeah, that
oh
sort of
yeah,
thing.
that definitely. Because I think even when I was events director, I never really took took to the stage. I've always been a little bit more of a backstage person. And I was lucky because I have Amber, the then president. Amber has so much charisma on stage. So she would be perfect for making all the announcements and just being the MC in general, and also the face of Urban Sketches.
Mm-mm.
Just even standing on the side there watching the whole thing come together. I feel like a proud parent.
Yeah.
That's that's one of those things that I feel, oh, this is that sense of achievement. How about you,
Yeah.
Eric?
I think that's a really good point you bring up there, where you say you yourself are not, didn't have the microphone, um, sort of bug, but others can. And so, as the role that it is, okay, I've got some experience just through my job from being on stage and microphone and talking and so forth. So
Mm,
I can do that, but it doesn't mean that a new event director has to have all the same skills that I have.
yeah.
Needs to be a fundamental project management skill in terms of tracking tasks, keeping on time, managing timelines, and negotiating and so forth. But
Mm,
you do have a team around you, um,
mm,
where you as the events director will go, okay, this work needs to be done. Who amongst the project team can do this bit of work? Even
mm,
if it's the work needs to be done of somebody on stage to the MC. It doesn't have to be the event director. It can be
mm.
somebody else who does that, or somebody who does the ticketing, or somebody who does the graphic design, or some. So you as a event director, you facilitate all of that with the board. It's not just you. And so I think I want to impress that to everyone who's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a fundamental project management part of it, but you don't have to have all those skills. It'd be
Take
great
for
if you.
example Poznan, which is just
Mm,
recently wrapped up. I think in a way to acknowledge the team that's worked and put this together, maybe you can share your experience of who were the people who had helped in some ways to make this a success. I would
mhm.
believe the volunteer team, the social media team, sponsorship team, fundraising team, and all the other people in your symposium committee and the local team as well. Definitely. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
you're not alone.
No, no, not at all. We
Yeah.
do have a split with the local organising committee, who are the host chapter, and
Mm,
we have our executive board, and then we
mm,
also have an international organising committee who is works on the project itself,
mm.
and so and they're brought together from different parts of the world as well, and so the and even then it's done a little according to which city it's in. It's done a little bit differently to account for their strengths, so the local team can really shine. They're hosting it. That's their city. They
Mm.
want to show their city to the best, and then with the support of the executive board and the international organizing committee, we can showcase this to the hundreds of participants that have bought a ticket to do the workshops. But also, we do know that there's also a big bunch of people who don't buy a ticket, but they come to the city to get the experience. And that's another growing work stream that we're aware of, that we want to provide some pastoral care to those people because they're still part of the community. And
Yes.
so that is some of the thinking that we need to do to ensure that we maintain the manifesto, but also maintain the care of the community as well. So I guess I'm looking into, yeah, like as I said, the project management part of it is fundamental, but you still really want to be a passionate sketcher in
Mm.
amongst that as well, because because the sketching community understands what the trigger points are for something really amazing.
So that's the balance of being an organizer and being the artist.
Yes, there's a bit of all of that.
But both involves creative solutions.
It does. It really does. There's creative solutions and also logistical solutions.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
one of my things that I've said over the years is basically every project team that I work with is that there are two things that I do, which is ensure that you're learning and also you're having fun. Because if you're not having fun, then how can the audience have fun? But also there is more solutions than problems. There really is, and it doesn't always
Yes.
come from me as event director, but you
Mm,
canvass the group. How can we resolve this problem? And
yeah.
there really is. So yeah, I guess we're sort of coming to the end of our program soon. But is there any other sort of reflections that you think would a prospective event director would be useful to take on board?
I think in
Um,
general, if you're passionate about this community, then this is a chance to serve and bring your skill to the table. It will be a rewarding experience. But 4 years is the maximum for the role.
mm, mm,
But I think we both stayed up to the maximum. I stayed because I was previously the board secretary, so there is a limit to a 5 year board term. So I
mm.
was 2 years secretary, so that's why I only got 3 years left as the events director. But you
Yes.
enjoyed it so much, you stayed the entire term. So I think whoever is thinking about it should, well, at least reach out and have a chat with you and see if they will be more interested. If that's open, Eric, like
Yeah, it is. Oh,
you yeah,
100%. We have, yeah, I'm open
just
to
to
receiving
discuss and understand
emails.
more.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, messages. We are open for expressions of interest through to the end of October, and that means there's enough time before I step out end of the year to ensure to handover, take the new event director through the process, and make sure that it's not just yeah, there you go, there are the keys, you go for it, you drive the car now.
but
No,
also,
well,
I think you're not going to be an entire new board. The board still
no,
functions in the same way where all the different board members have overlaps. So it's not an entire new board. So you
yeah,
will not enter like you're expected to start everything from scratch. There are
that's
legacy
right.
information and people you're working with that
Yeah,
will help you ease into the role. And Eric's
yeah.
not gonna hand you the keys and let you
No,
drive off
no,
on your
that's
own.
right. No, no, you're in a yeah, you're in this together. So I hope the viewers can from this capture some of the energy that we've been able to share, because I know for 100% sure that each of the other directors on the board, they have the same level of passion and energy for the community, so they're going to help you. Okay, you're not in this alone. It is, yes, it is a crucial role in the whole organization, but every role is crucial, and that's why they're framed that way. But
Yeah.
interconnected, you're not alone. You go. We don't want anybody. We don't want to see anybody fail. It's no use to anybody. We want
Oh,
everyone to succeed in their roles, including this one.
exactly.
And there isn't also there's a recognition that this is a non-profit role, volunteer, and everyone has a private life and job, and has a whole world of private issues that happen and carry on and so forth. And we give each other grace to be able to live our life, and we pick up the slack when we need
Oh
to.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's happened to me over the year as well. I've been overloaded with certain things. I need to, hey guys, can you just take up this, this work stream for a little while?
Mm,
And that is 100% how this board operates. So please don't be intimidated by what you see that has happened. There is maybe that's before we leave. What is there some backstage backstage anecdotes that no one would know about that you had to go through? Anything that springs to mind?
well, I think it ties in with what we were talking about, like working with different cultures. There are different ways of communicating. Sometimes I don't know if people don't respond or the way the tone of their voice
Mm, mm.
it is aggressive or passive. So it in some ways it forces me to learn and be sensitive and accepting of everyone works in a different way. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's just very interesting to observe the different cultures of how people work.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a fundamental part. There is a world of different cultures and a world of different experiences.
Yeah.
And I hope that there's somebody out there that can bring their world to be part of this world, because
Yeah.
Peggy
I
and
think it
I
would,
have been through it.
yeah, it would
We come
enrich
out
your
of it.
experience
Yeah,
totally.
we've come out of it still. We've survived and we're still smiling. And so
And we are
there's,
here encouraging you to apply for the role. I mean, if we are not convinced this is good enough, we're not gonna tell you, please
yeah,
take it on. But I
yeah.
think we are convinced enough this is a rewarding experience. We want you to experience it too.
I don't need to say anything more. Beautiful. Thanks, Peggy. Thanks for joining me on this discussion about the event director role.
This is
I
great,
think
Eric. Thank
we
you.
can wrap it up here. I'm going to thank Christina, who's doing a production for us in Ohio. It's past 3 a.m. now, so
Oh,
Christina, we're going to
thanks,
log off and
Christina.
allow Christina to go to bed. Um, please, yeah, end of the month, we will receive expressions of interest. Please, you can email me, you can chat to me about any questions before that, but we would love to see those expressions of interest come in, because we are both passionate about urban sketches and we both want it to continue into the future in better hands. So, on that note, thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you,
We'll
everyone.
catch you sketching. Happy sketching. Good night,
Thanks,
everybody.
Eric. Bye.